Good morning and welcome to the DFS Army YouTube channel. I'm Razzle11 and you can find me on X at Razzle11Grinds. Going to take a look at pitching for today, the 25th of June. It is Wednesday. We do have a 4-game day slate and an 8-game main slate this evening. I am looking at DraftKings as that is where a majority of my action is. If you do play on FanDuel, I would cut my pool in half or so. Pricing isn't quite as tight. Allows you don't have to be as creative. Allows you to get the stacks you want with an upper-tier-ish pitcher. Sorry, I'm trying to go in a hurry. Woke up a little late and have to get out the door very quickly. One big weather concern in Minnesota. Pretty big delay risk this evening. But aside from that, nothing to be too worried about. Minnesota's going to be pretty cool. Might be decent pitching weather. Not even sure who's on the mound yet because this is truly a first look video today. Now with all that said and done, let's just jump right in and get through this one. And I actually did just look on my other monitor. Great pitching matchup in Minnesota by names. But we will jump in. First, this 4-game slate. The big game of the day, the one that I knew about, Paul Skeens, Mizorowski, taking each other on. Skeens with a K-prop of 7.5, juiced to the under. Mizorowski 5.5, juiced over. Big time name pitching matchup here. Now, Skeens obviously is Skeens and he's elite. Was dominant against the Brewers the first time he faced them. A little tougher matchup than what Mizorowski has. But, man, it's tough to not want to play both these guys, to be honest. And being honest, there's just a ton of pitching on this 4-game slate. Be like, yeah, it's 8 pitchers. Well, Skeens, Mizorowski, Mackenzie Gore, Nick Pivetta, Zach Gallen against the White Sox, even though Gallen's been pretty rough this season. I have to think that he's got to be in play for us. Man, his performance has been pretty bad. So if you wanted to fade Zach Gallen, probably wouldn't blame you. Kikuchi against Boston. I think Kikuchi had a pretty strong K-prop. 6.5 juice to the over. Pavetta's 5.5 juiced over. Mackenzie Gore 5.5 as well. Zach Gallen 5.5 as well. So as you can see, a lot of pitching on this first slate. Richard Fitz taking on an Angels team that strikes out a ton. He's had a decent start. It was against the White Sox. Like somebody could even talk me into him. I don't think I can. I don't think I'm going to need to. Sorry, yawning. I don't think we're going to need to get to Fitz, but man, the slate just has some pitching options, and it's annoying that things aren't spread out a little bit more. This one, definitely, you definitely want exposure to the guys at the top. I can understand maybe fading Mackenzie Gore since San Diego doesn't strike out all that much, but I do really like left-handed pitchers against them. Tatis has struggled mightily against lefties. Pivetta is dangerous, has plenty of upside, but also has had a home run issue in the past. 10 home runs allowed over his last 10 starts. Just 1 in his first 5 starts kind of shows you. 5 over his last 4 starts, but he does have big-time K upside when things kind of come together. So he's obviously a little more volatile, but I mean, that's the case with Gallen. Kikuchi's pretty volatile, but they're all names that I'd want to utilize. Looking at the main slate this evening, we do have a lot of names. A decent amount of names. Shouldn't say a lot, but there is a decent amount here. We'll start game by game. Yankees and the Reds. Max Fried, definitely going to be in play for us. K-prop of 5.5 juice to the over as well. Obviously, it's a ballpark we're afraid to take pitching in, but Rodon was pretty solid last night. Chase Burns, pretty impressive, striking out the first 6 batters he faced in his debut. Fried hasn't been super sharp the last 3 starts. Strikeouts are there, though. 16 strikeouts over his last 2. Definitely should be a guy that we want to utilize, even in that small ballpark. Talked about it yesterday. The Reds are actually pretty rough against left-handed pitching, so it is a spot that we can utilize. The Mets and the Braves. Clay Holmes, probably somebody that I'm not going to end up on. I've slowly been pushing towards not utilizing him as much. 104 pitches in 4 2/3 innings last time out against this Atlanta squad. 6 walks. Just a guy that I think breaks down. Like I've said it multiple times. He's in his mid-30s, low to mid-30s, I guess. Been a reliever his entire career, and now suddenly being a starting pitcher. Things just aren't that simple to do. Bodies start to break down a little bit more, shoulders, etc. I'm just not going to get there with Clay Holmes. Didier Fuentes looked pretty rough in his debut, and that was against the Marlins. Now he takes on a Mets squad. I realize the Mets team has had some struggles recently, aside from like Soto, maybe Nimmo. But I don't think we need to get to Didier Fuentes. Now, the potential delay game in Minnesota. Obviously, a spot we want to pay attention to because we get Joe Ryan versus George Kirby. Ryan has yet to take on Seattle this season, but over his last 10 starts has been ridiculously dominant. Most of his numbers at home have been even better than on the road. His ERA is a little higher, but average against strikeout numbers are better. Home runs allowed number does go up, but that's alright. Hasn't been super clean over the last handful of starts, but still plenty of upside. Obviously a little dangerous, but still super strong upside that I like to see. On the other side, George Kirby has obviously struggled a bit this year with some injuries. Did have that 14K performance against the Angels, but aside from that has actually struggled a bit. Decent starting against Cleveland, just not great for fantasy purposes. Home runs have been a big issue, as have some walks, but I think Minnesota's struggling a ton. I think they're 1-9 in the last 10 or so. As long as we can find a window for the starting pitching to be viable in that game, I will be utilizing those guys. So definitely want to pay attention to the weather as the day goes on. Tampa Bay, Kansas City, Drew Rasmussen. Decent option. I just don't think I'm going to get there since Kansas City just doesn't strike out all that much. Michael Wacha probably could be a decent option as well, but I'm just not going to get there, I don't believe. 23 plus in 2 out of his last 4 starts. Not bad. I'm just not really excited about using mediocre right-handed pitching against Tampa Bay. I know they are probably worse on the road, which might put Wacha in play, but I just don't think I want to get there. Taking a look at their K-prop numbers. Guess I'm not even seeing. Oh, they're there. Wacha 4.5, juiced to the under. Rasmussen 3.5. Juiced very slightly over. Just not a game I think we need to target for pitching sake. The Cubs, St. Louis, Boyd, Fetty. Boyd's a guy we've been using a little bit, but I don't think the weather is the best for pitching. Pretty hot yet. Slight winds blowing out. I'm not using Fetty basically ever. I'm not sure if he has pitched against the Cubs yet this season. Does not look like it. Shouldn't say basically ever because we used Fetty against the White Sox his last time out. Wasn't great, but that was matchup driven. Matthew Boyd, always somebody that I like to use a little bit because he does flash strong performance upside. I just don't think there's a ton of K upside in the St. Louis lineup. It's been really solid. 2 runs or less in 5 straight starts. 6+ Ks in 3 of them. So he has been showing upside. I just don't think I'm going to utilize him. He's somebody kind of on the back burner that I'd consider, but most likely not going to get there. Philadelphia, Houston. Colton Gordon, had a couple decent starts in here, but I'm just not excited to use him. He's allowed 2 home runs in 3 out of his last 4 starts. Not the best with Kyle Schwarber showing up on the other side. Zach Wheeler, obviously somebody that we are going to utilize. Just arguably, I've said it multiple times, could arguably be the best pitcher in baseball. Had his one blow-up game for a while against the Braves. Has bounced back pretty strongly. So, Zach Wheeler for sure going to be in my pool as one of my main options on the slate with a K-prop of 6.5. Juice to the over. Last 2 games of the night, Dodgers, Rockies. Yamamoto, somebody that we probably should just utilize, but throughout his last 4 starts have been pretty rough. I'm not sure what he's done in Coors in his short career. Something I probably want to look at just to see, just because he relies on, a splitter. I don't remember how well they perform in Coors. One would think that not very well, because you do need some air resistance to make it dive the way that you want it. Walks have been a huge issue, so that's not the greatest thing. Dollander on the other side, obviously a talented arm, but I just don't think we can take him against the Dodgers. Strikeouts haven't been there the last handful, which is kind of surprising for me. Even in non-Coors starts, he just hasn't been picking up strikeouts. Last game on the slate, Logan Webb at home. Pretty much an automatic yes, I'm going to be playing. Add in that he's facing the Marlins, and I am definitely down. Numbers at home just absolutely dominant. K rate takes a hit, but I've talked about it before. I think San Francisco pitching has started to pitch more towards contact when at home to avoid walks. Robbie Ray's walk rate at home plummets compared to his road rate. I think that's kind of a staff idea, but Logan Webb, certainly somebody that we want exposure to. K-prop is 6.5. Juice to the under, but still pretty solid K-prop. Edward Cabrera on the other side. Super talented. Somebody that I am interested in. 19 plus in 3 out of his last 5. Was strong against San Francisco the first time he faced them. Walks were an issue. Did allow some hits, but still got the W. I am interested in Edward Cabrera in this ballpark. Walks definitely going to be the big issue that, that worries us. Did strike out 10 against the Angels, but then again, everybody strikes out 10 against the Angels. 5 strikeouts in each of his last 4 starts. There's volatility to him, for sure, but somebody in this ballpark, like I mentioned, that I'm going to be on. So, there we have it. There's our first look at pitching on the slates today. If you enjoy what I bring to you, please hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, turn the notification bell on. Get the alert anytime we drop videos here at DFS Army. If you want to join us, get access to our coaches, tools, sheets, Discord, etc. I'll put links in the description below. You can use promo code RAZ, that's R-A-Z, for 10% off monthly. And as always, best of luck, everybody.